So, reading this book right here, Think by Simon Blackburn, I came across a very interesting idea of Cartesian doubt by this gentleman right here, René Descartes, who was trying to understand how do we understand things, how do we acquire knowledge. And he introduces the concept of Cartesian doubt, which is doubting everything. So, Descartes introduces a concept of an evil demon whose main job is to just deceive us, to make fools of us, to tell us lies and convince us. So I'm holding this book, I touch it and I feel something. I hold an apple, I eat it, and I feel something. Now Descartes says, well, what if those are not real? What if those are just senses being sent to you or senses being fed to you, and maybe you're just a brain sitting in a vat in a laboratory? How do you know what you know? How do you know that the world is real when there is an all-powerful demon trying to convince you that it is real, but in fact it is not? And once Descartes introduces this demon, he can't get rid of him. He is stuck with him, man. So the way he goes about clearing him is with Cogito, Ergo, sum, or I think, therefore I am, or a better translation according to the author of this book is, I am thinking, therefore I am. Now, the demon wants to convince us that everything is real, or he's deceiving us about the reality of the world, when in fact it might not be real. And if he wanted to deceive us that we were not real, that we didn't exist, then the only way we would know that he was wrong is if I was thinking. Now, if he wanted to convince me that I don't exist, then by the mere thinking act, the act of thinking, I know that I exist. So that in this entire deception-ridden thought experiment, the very act of thinking, the very act of inquiry, the very act of doubting things, the very act of coming to the reasoning that even if I'm being deceived, the mere act of thinking is convincing me that I exist when everything else is possibly untrue. So I spent the last week trying to understand this nonsense. But it was interesting, and it's finally making some sense to me. See you next time.